my opinion, 100%, two vets makes the best head on the market, and by far. Like JD said, like every call or every sound he sells and he has 100% killed coyotes. Welcome back, everybody, to the Final Howl. And this week, we're just going to kind of talk about our season getting kicked off. I got Brandon in the studio with me this week, and we went out together, probably been about 2 weeks ago now, and then he went out himself last week. So we're just going to kind of talk about the start to our season. We've got some new gear, what we're trying out, different sounds with BFA this year. And just between Lucky Duck Call, I got the new Super Revolt. And so we're just going to jump into this and talk about what we're going to do this year. So Brandon, how we doing, man?
Good. How are you doing tonight, Zach?
I'm doing wonderful. Can't wait to get out and get calling some coyotes.
I am, as always, looking forward to it. I don't know that there's really ever a bad night of coyote calling.
That is true. If you're out there calling, it's a good night.
That's right.
When we went out there a couple weeks ago, I know I was feeling a little under the weather, and we've been busy just in the fields and tired, and I had a head cold, and it just sucked.
I think I just maybe twisted your arm a little bit and convinced you to go, and I don't know that you're really feeling it, but we gave it our best shot.
We did. Well, the crop started coming off, and as soon as that happens, you're starting to see a bunch of empty bean fields and corn fields, and it really gets you wanting to get it.
You get the itch, and it's like, man, we got to go scratch this.
It is. And we scratched it, and it wasn't – we heard some, but we only had one stand, right? We only heard them on one stand, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first one we made.
Yeah. And then it was just kind of dead and didn't hear nothing, but – so we packed up early. My head was just throbbing, and then you ended up going out.
I went last weekend by myself. Yeah, I think you were busy farming. And, I had some success by myself. Killed my first coyote for this season. Saw a total of 3 coyotes. Got one killed.
Hey, that's the fun about it. You got that monkey off your back right off the gate this year. You got one under your belt to start off with.
Yeah. No, and it was the third one that I'd seen I got killed. And, you mentioned you got the new Super Revolt. Well, I guess inherited your old Super Revolt, the 1.0 or whatever you want to call it. And so I'd previously ran a Fox Pro, and and it was I'd run a Fox Pro Patriot, so it was their entry-level call, and that's just what I'd initially bought and hadn't made the switch yet. It worked great and never had any issues with it, but I guess you're super well getting all the BFA sounds and everything that we're using this year, and you're not really comparing apples to apples when you're comparing the cheapest call a company makes versus the flagship model for another company. So not trying to compare those calls or anything like that, but no, trying to learn that new Lucky Duck remote and everything though. And the first wasn't my first stand of the evening, but I had a pair come in, and I played a lone howl and then went right into rabbit distress, and had set up good and everything, and I was probably maybe 45 seconds into the stand, and I'm scanning with the binocular, and I'm like, oh crap, I got 2 coming. Not oh crap, but like, here we go. I got 2 coming in, and they were coming in hard, so got the gun on them, and I was trying to figure out how to turn the volume down on the remote, and I played with the remote quite a bit, but it's like all of a sudden you're in a live situation, and my muscle memory wanted to go back to that other remote, and this button layout's totally different. And so fiddling with that, and then, they're coming in, they're not slowing down at all. And, started howling at them, trying to get them to stop, and, could not get them to stop for the life of me. And then probably just got hey, these are the first coyotes I've seen through a thermal in 6 months jitters. And, I took a shot when I shouldn't have, and then They got on the other side of a fence row and kept playing some sounds at them, but flipped to some pup distress, and they were running back and forth on the other side of the fence row trying to get downwind of the call, but yeah, there's trees and it's grown up and stuff, and I couldn't get them to pause during a gap, so shut it down and just waited 5-10 minutes and trying to let them get out of there so I could go grab the call and go on to the next stand, and went on to the next stand and did the exact same thing, played the same sounds, same order and everything like that, and I had another one come in probably a minute and 15 seconds into the stand, maybe. And yeah, redeemed myself. I dumped that one. So that was a pretty 75-yard shot. So it was a layup, but I was pretty ticked walking away from that pair that I screwed up on. So I was like, man, I was mad. So that felt good. Finally getting one, especially on the next stand. 'Cause yeah, it just frustrates you when you screw up, but.
Well, that's a big step though. 'Cause since you've started, you've run that Fox Pro, right?
That's the only call I've ever ran.
So
back in the day, I ran a Primos Alpha Dog, but I haven't ran that call in a long time. But yeah, I've run that Fox Pro for 2 years.
Yeah, so you get
2 or 3, but yeah.
Yeah, JD and I talked about that when he was on earlier this year about remotes. You get so used.
Yeah, I would never have to even look at the remote. It's like got like 8 buttons on it, and I know exactly where they all are.
Right. You went from that Fox Pro remote to what you're just so used to.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got that Super Revolt remote, Lucky Duck, that you've never ran besides sitting at home.
Yeah.
That's it. So, and then on top of it, your first solo stand of the year, double comes screaming in, and you're trying to. So I mean, I get it. Like there's a lot to process that because you're instantly wanting to grab and do what you're used to doing, and it's not there.
If they could have just came in at a nice trot, I'd have been fine. But like you said, sitting there by yourself and new remote and everything, it's like, I mean, I didn't even have time to hit the record button on my scope. It was like they are here, and I'm howling at them, woofing at them, trying to get them to stop, and yeah, like I said, just got the jitters and probably pulled the trigger when I shouldn't have, and missed. So,
but after you missed though, I'm when you were telling me about it, I thought to myself, like, there was something to take away from that, because you didn't sit there and just rack your gun and just start sending lead out there.
No, that was the only shot I fired on that stand.
Right. And then you realize, okay, hey, like it just wasn't meant to be, and you kept your composure to it and calm another night.
Yeah. Yeah. Just trying to minimize. Obviously that was a blown stand, a mistake, whatever, but just trying to do what I can to minimize those and just not force things. So.
Right. When you were set up on that, what was the weather like that night? What was the wind like?
So that was a south wind, and so the wind would have been blowing right to that fence row.
So were you set? I guess what I'm asking, like, were you set up with a cross? Like, did you have a great?
That would have been a perfect crosswind, yeah, because that wind was from the south, maybe a little bit to the west, and so I would have been, facing the east on that stand, and so yeah, it would have been a perfect crosswind. Had the call 30 yards out in front of me.
Did you have the call straight out in front of you? Or
yes.
Did you have it off? So it was
straight out in front
of you.
Yeah, because the way that stand lays, it's like, there's a fence line that runs part of the way back through a field, and then there's a woods. So, and then the rest of it's wide open. So you're gonna know they're either gonna run that fence row, or I've had them come. The ground does roll a little bit over there. I've had them pop up out of a ditch that's back there, but that's one of those stands like you about got to sit there on the road and scan it with the thermal before you pull in, because from the road you can pretty much see everything. Once you get back in there, it's like the way the ground rolls, you lose some of that visibility. But yeah, so they're either going to come straight at me like they did, or they're going to come from would be my right.
So when you make a stand there, do you generally do you sit in the same spot every time on that stand?
Yeah.
For a south wind, or like, can you get by with more there? Or? I'm just kind of trying to nitpick your brain, I guess, on
you could
what you look at when you're going in.
I mean, really, like a south wind like that is, I guess it all just depends on where they're coming from. I mean, you can drive around the block and just triple check that there's nothing out there, and if you know there's nothing out in that field, you could get away with like a northwest wind. But I mean, yeah, a south wind is probably the ideal wind to hunt that stand.
Okay. So when I guess after all that happened, and then did you already have your next stand in mind where you ended up killing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So no matter what, when you were done there, you were going there. That was just
it was only a mile away, and those are both two really good stands, and we don't get. I mean, we get a decent amount of south winds, but we don't. I'd say west winds are our predominant winds here, and it's hard to hunt both of those stands on a west wind. So I was like, I'm going to take advantage of this.
So when you went into your next stand, I guess kind of give us the layout of what you were looking at when you were going in there, setting the call. Like, how'd you do your call placement to the wind and all that?
It's very similar. I mean, you're coming in from the west side on both of those stands. It's got, it's not a true fence line anymore. There's no fence. I assume there once was there, but it's got like two fields, two different farmers butt up against each other. So there's like a grassy little lane kind of type deal there in between them. And it goes all the way straight back to a woods. And then there's a ditch that, kind of cuts through that farm. And so, they're either going to pop up out of the ditch, which would be, to my right, or they're going to come straight at me again. So it was, again, it was a crosswind. So
with the call about 30 yards straight out in front of you again.
Yeah.
So I guess the reason why I'm kind of diving into that and asking you more is here in the last month, I have had a bunch of questions of guys just when you're looking at a stand, what are you doing this? And so I just kind of thought, well, when we're on here and we're talking about killing, just maybe that might help somebody. Yeah. I don't know. But how'd you start your call volume? That's another question I got. I just had a guy message me about that a couple of days ago. And I'm like, man, it kind of varies. So
I'm not an expert, but I mean, there's other podcasts out there with people that kill a lot more coyotes than I do. And I mean, I guess I've heard Jeff Nimnick say, 1,000 times probably that he's never had a coyote run away because he played the call too loud. So
yeah,
I was on, I think
he just blares it.
Lucky Duck goes to 34. I might have been on 30, maybe 32 even. So
what howl were you? What howl? Because you're not loaded up with your BFA sounds yet.
No, not at that time. That would have been Sky Lone Howl. Something. It's whatever. So it'd be a Rick Paulette sound, but it's whatever one. It's super long and just non-aggressive, kind of whiny, higher pitch. I don't know. This time of year when there's a bunch of young pups running around, I like to be as like calm as I can initially because I don't know if this is right or wrong. It's just my thought process. If you got a 6-month-old coyote out there that isn't with its family group anymore and is just kind of running around, it probably doesn't really want to fight, something that sounds real aggressive. But if something out there I don't know if coyotes really think like this, but if something out there sounds kind of friendly to it, then it might be more apt to come in. So,
right.
And then I'll get more aggressive. If I play the whole stand out, I'll get more aggressive as it goes. But
so when you start off your howl, did you just let it howl 2 or 3 times and then shut it off, or did you let it play like full minute or however long that series? That's
probably let it howl or let the howl play for probably 20 or 30 seconds. I mean, that is like there's not like a ton of gaps in that one. So, I mean, I might have only let it play for 15, but I do pause it and then switch to shelter belt. Went right into that, no space in between the sounds, just howled and as quick as I could scroll to shelter belt and just switched into that. But then, like I said, I mean, I was set up on coyotes in both those instances because they were there right away.
See, it's instances like that it kind of makes me wonder, like, the second sound you played
Did
probably didn't matter. That they probably weren't coming to that, because if they were in your lap within a minute or so of howling, so it's almost to me like they were coming to the howl. They were just, there's another coyote over there. Either they were coming in to hang out or whatever they were doing, fight or
whatever coyotes do.
You're right. Yeah. And I think that's kind of, sometimes I've heard Jeff talk about it, and I agree with him 100% on that. There are times you've been 10, 15 minutes on stand and you're literally just rolling through the book. Or there's been times I've seen them, watched them out there, and then something tripped their trigger and they're coming. But I will often wonder how many times when somebody's like, oh, they came into Shelter Belt, or they came into Spaz Rabbit, or, whatever it so be, like, was it that, or were they really coming to that
if you're on your
set of howls? Or
if you're on your third sound in a stand, were they already coming? Unless you're just going out there and playing one sound for, the whole time. Can you really say that it was this specific sound? I don't know that you could, but
I don't think so. That's just something I always thought about. Like, I've wondered myself, because I've been like that. Like, man, every coyote tonight came into, pup pillage. Like, that's what was killing them. Like, well, but I didn't start playing that until 9 minutes into the stand. Was it 3.5, 4 minutes of rabbit distress I played, or was it the pair howl I played that really interested them? Like, it makes you wonder. Like, sometimes I don't know. It's hard telling. But so you got your one kill under your belt. You've got you're leading team final howl right now. I'm pretty sure Bill hasn't been out and I haven't killed. So you're the if we had a championship belt right now, you'd be wearing it.
Well, that's not much of a lead. So
hey, one's better than none.
Yeah.
So, but you and that's something I guess I've changed. I've got a new tripod this year. I'm running that 2 Vets tripod. Then I've got the new Super Revolt 2.0. So that's, the gun's still the same, still shooting 6.5 Creed. What else? Yeah, still got the same Pulsar scope I've run, binocular. But other than that, I'm pretty much going into the season the same. You've got I'm trying to think of the name for it, and I think I'm going to call it your Frankenstein tripod.
It is a Frankenstein tripod. Like, I'm probably one of the cheapest people you ever meet. So if I can figure out a way to save $100 here or there, which is very hard to do in coyote hunting, this is a very expensive hobby. It's the tripod is and I'm probably going to pronounce this wrong because it's a Chinese brand, which I mean, but it's a Fanu, I think. It's a Fanu 4020 or ST65, something like that. And that tripod comes with a ball head, like, in it, but the way you tension that ball head down is you, like, have to tighten that lever that's there on the side. And I'm like, man, if I swing and then try to, like, tighten it down, I don't, like, on that pair, like, when you don't have time to think about something, I don't want to be fiddling around trying to figure out where did that lever go. So it's a Fanu tripod. And then I figured out, after I got it and pulled the head that is, like, built into it off, it will, with a shim, you can drop a Fat Boy bull into it. And then it's got I got a 2 Vets head on it. I was going to have a company machine a bowl for it, and then I figured out that Fat Boy bull's it's a 70 millimeter bowl. So it was like half, I measured it with my caliper, and I thought it was going to work, but it ended up being about half a millimeter off. So just shimmed it with something. And, I put that might sound kind of sketchy to somebody when you got, a couple $1,000 optic and, however much money on a gun on top of it, but I feel good about it. I put my scale on it, and I got it to, I think, about as hard as I could pull. I mean, it was over 100 pounds, and I couldn't pull the head off of it. So,
Right.
seems solid.
Yeah, and that's which I mean, when you brought it over here, like I can't tell. There's not much difference between, I guess, the stability of your setup and my setup. Like I don't see a.
It's solid. I mean, it's I feel like it is a little bit cheaper made tripod. I mean, I've hunted with it one night. Time will tell how well it holds up. But, a couple things I've noticed about it, like the hardware on it's not stainless steel. So, I'm probably going to either have to replace that or deal with a little bit, keep it oiled or something like that. Because we're out there on humid nights, and I mean, we've gotten rained on before, and before you can get everything packed up, it starts raining, it's gonna, or I just leave it in the bed of my truck for a week or something, it's gonna get, the moisture freeze and thaw here in Indiana, it's gonna probably rust. But
Well, and I think it's important because not necessarily that, oh, you're a cheap ass or whatever, but it's like not just everybody wants to spend $1,000 on a tripod. But it seems like, okay, if you get down to like, say the bog status, like I run my death grip until it just really wouldn't run.
Your death grip is tired.
It is. It's wore out.
Yeah.
But it was a great tripod, but it's still not the sturdiest thing in the world. You can tell a difference between those $300 tripods and the $700 ones. Like, yeah, they're hands down, the companies like Two Vets are well worth the money.
Yeah.
100%. Like if you're in this game to be like, I don't give a shit, money's not an object. Yeah, I get it. But at the same time, it's $1,000 setup.
Yeah.
And what you did, you've got half the money.
Yeah, roughly.
In your setup than mine, but you're running that Two Vets 60, 65 mil head, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, in my opinion, we talked about it out here earlier. I think that's where 90% of your, I guess, not really stability, but just the functionality of the tripod comes with the head. I see that all the time. Like we're not here knocking anybody, like not supporting or knocking anybody here. I think that each company has something that's really good. That Fat Boy tripod, you've had one. Bill runs the Levitate, right? Isn't that what it's? The one's got the lever on the bottom.
Yeah.
So like I've seen them, but like their ball head, I think the Two Vets ball head is superior.
Yeah,
Fat Boy ball head.
I bought a Fat Boy tripod and the inverted 60 head, and like I said, I have nothing bad. Like that tripod was probably just as good as your Two Vets, or honestly, I mean, I'll say it. I think it was just as good as my Fanu, or however you pronounce that brand. And but I did not like the inverted 60 head. I mean, and I brought it over here, and you played around with it too, and there's probably nothing wrong with the functionality of it or anything like that. But where I went to is it's like, man, we run bolt guns. Like trying to, the thing I liked about the Two Vets versus the Fat Boy was just the adjustability of it. Like it's got those little knobs on the side where you can adjust. Like when I clamp that little lever down, or when I twist the knob to tighten the gun down, you can change the tension on that. So you either have to spin it a lot or a little bit. Whereas it either didn't have it or I didn't know how to do it on the Fat Boy, but it was like, so on that Fat Boy, it was super sensitive, and it was either all or nothing. And I'm like, man, if I call in a double by myself and I get locked down on the first coyote, I mean, I was screwing around with it at home with my gun on it. It's like you shoot a shot trying to rack a bolt, adjust that head again, and then not have your gun flip over because, you're going to be rushed. And in the heat of the moment is the whole head going to pivot to the side or something like that?
Well, that's what, for anybody that doesn't know kind of what we're talking about. So picture like the Fat Boy head is just like a cup with the ball that sits down in it. And then that's your ball head to where it's just moving back and forth. And it just, so if you want to sit there and scan with your gun side to side, that ball is what's turning in there.
Yeah.
So when you turn left, it can also tilt to where the 2Vet's head, it's a ball like that, but also the whole head.
It's got a panning head.
A panning
ball head.
The whole thing will turn. So when you're swinging side to side, that ball's not rotating inside that bowl.
Yeah.
It's just that. So you can more or less, if you're hunting perfectly flat ground, you can about lock that gun dead flat, but you can still sit there and scan to where you don't have to worry about your gun tilting side to side. So that's.
And a lot of that, that's just my opinion. Like I said, I'm not knocking Fat Boy or anything like that, but I started with a panning ball head. I mean, it's a cheap art size. But that's what I'm used to. And when I tried to go away from that, I was like, man, there's probably thousands of people out there that run bolt guns on those Fat Boys and have success and probably think I'm an idiot. But I'm like, man, I had that panning ball. Like I'm used to a panning ball head. And after I had that, I was like, I think I want to stick with that. And when I brought it over and we were kind of comparing them, and I'm like, yeah, this is the head that I want. You're the 2Vet's 65 that you have.
I think that's probably why I like that head. It's coming from and I think too, along the lines of what you're saying, I think it's kind of what you start with.
Mm-hmm.
And once you get used to running.
Because your bog has that panning feature too.
Right. It just locks into the saddle, and I never had to worry about my gun tipping.
Mm-hmm.
Side to side, so it was just up and down, left and right. So my first experience with around ball heads were those Fat Boys like that. And I was like, I don't like that, because if I'm swinging, like I shoot this coyote here and I'm going to swing hard to the left or whatever to get that runner.
Yeah.
Your gun, it just, like I said, maybe I was never used to it. Didn't know how to set it. So be whatever it was. I'm like, I hate that. I do not like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I talked to Dan over at 2Vets and I get this new tripod, it was like, he kept telling me, he's like, no, it's not the same. This is a panning head. This is different. He's explained this to me. He says, I'm pretty sure you'll like this. I'm confident you will like this.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. I set it up. As soon as I put my gun on it, I was like, oh, this was nothing like I was thinking or what I'd seen before or used before. So I'm like, oh, I do like this. Because like you said, you can fine tune that thing, get it right where you want it.
Yeah.
And you don't have to.
And all you got to do is basically you can go from being like panning and you can just tap that little lever or the little knob and
right.
It's like you're locked in, which I don't ever hardly really crank mine down. Everybody probably has their own style, but I've always just ran mine under, when I'm about to shoot, it's under a lot of tension. So it's not loose and wobbly, but it's not normally fully locked or anything like that. And that was the difference with the Fat Boy. It was it was either locked or it was loose. That just for whatever reason that I struggled to find that fine tuning, that sweet spot. And I just knew I'm notorious. We'll go out, I'll hunt with you and Bill, and it's we'll call in a bunch of singles and maybe the occasional triple. But it seems like a lot of times, if I go out by myself on a random Thursday night, just trying to get one or two stands in, it's it just, at least last year, just seemed like if I was by myself, I was going to call in a quad. And then it's I know, in the heat of the moment, just trying to find that sweet spot was going to frustrate me. So
yeah, the actual tripod itself, that Fat Boy tripod is it's a beast
tripod.
Yeah, that thing's a beast. It's an awesome tripod. It's just their head. I just don't like their head. That's why when you put your old Frankenpod together there, I was thinking you kind of took the best of kind of a little bit of everything there.
I got an affordable but solid tripod.
Right.
And in our opinion, probably the best head on the market.
By far. I feel very confident in saying that, in my opinion, 100%, 2Vets makes the best head on the market. And by far.
I'm not going to sit here and say that at the end of the day, I like your tripod. It looks cooler. It might be, I think it's probably a hair more solid. And like I said, it's got, all the bolts holding the legs in and everything are stainless, and it's probably got better parts. For all the people out there that are always worried about their legs crossing on their tripod, my tripod legs will cross a little bit. But
I don't understand why that's why people worry about it.
I don't know if people hunt differently than we do, but like we don't, it would be weird for me to walk 200 yards into a stand. So it's like, we're either hunting out of a truck or out of your buggy. So it's like, I pull the tripod out and I set it up right next to it. Use whatever.
Yeah, we're walking 40 yards, 50 yards.
Yeah,
parking on the backside of a hill and just kind of walking up, or standing right next to it.
Yeah, using it as a backstop. And so it's like, I got my gun in the sling or over my shoulder, and I'm just carrying the tripod. And I guess I've never really.
So
my old art size, like the legs on that thing would cross really bad, but I don't know that I ever hadn't, like they would do it, but it was like, okay, we just unfold it.
So that's why guys don't, because they just leave their gun on it when they're walking in. And
I don't know.
I see that all the time.
Facebook all the time. And I'm like, is it that big of a deal?
Yeah. I've never understood that when I see that, like when guys are like, oh, the legs cross. And I'm like, well, who gives a shit? They're spread out when you're hunting.
Yeah.
Like I don't like what matters if they cross, but I don't know. But I'm sure if somebody leave it in the comments, explain this to me.
Yeah.
why this is a big deal? Because the ones on my bog pod crossed, and I never once was like, man, this sucks. The legs cross.
Yeah.
Never understood it, I guess.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So, I guess to kind of get off the tripod kick, Bust and Fur Audio are professionally recorded live animal sounds created by J.D. Pyatt. The Final Howl is proud to be partnered up with BFA. All sound files are available in MP3 and WAV format, which makes them compatible with most major brand electronic callers. Go check them out, bustandfur.com. When I know this is not a very fair comparison, we are literally comparing freaking apples to tangerines. But from your Fox Pro to your Lucky Duck, like, how you feeling about that? You've only been out with it once.
Yeah.
You've hunted with me, though. It's hunted around, with the Lucky Duck, but
yeah, but that consisted of walking the call out and flipping the switch off or on. But yeah, no, I really like the Lucky Duck call. Yeah, it's not even fair to compare them, because the Fox Pro that I had, did I say this already?
Well, I don't know. Probably. I don't know.
It's the Patriot. So it's the cheapest one they make, and then you got the flagship Super Revolt. So. Right. That's not even a fair comparison. You'd have to compare.
I know, that's why I said it's like literally comparing apples to freaking tangent, because you really can't. But
yeah, you want me? I could sit here and I can say it's louder, it sounds better, and I got a lot more. With BFA and all the Rick sounds on there. When I bought that Fox Pro, I think I ordered it from Cabela's or something, and then it's like you quickly figure out, once you get down the rabbit hole of coyote hunting, it's like if you're going to run Fox Pro, the best thing you can do is just go buy one from Tory Cook and MFK, because that's all the sounds you're going to run anyway.
I really think, same as if you're going to buy an Icotech, you buy it from J.D. Pyatt.
Yeah.
So you get all the BFA sounds. If you're going to go buy a brand new Lucky Duck, buy it through Rick.
Yeah.
So that you get all of Rick's sound, because all those guys have sounds that they're going to put that nobody else, that really, I guess they're on the market, but they're not. Mm-hmm. Most of those guys have deals, and it's always cheaper. Mm-hmm. Why not buy it?
Call for the same price, and normally you're going to get their edition of it, so they're going to throw in, you can pay, I think you can, all those places probably have, you buy the call, you get every sound, the more sounds you buy, the cheaper. And if you buy the call at the same time, you're going to get the best bang for your buck. If you, per price of sound, if you buy everything at once, you're going to shell out a lot of money too. But, that's part of it. But no, that, Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, it's at the end of the day, that Super Volt is a better call than the Patriot, but it's not a fair comparison. You'd have to compare it to like the X24 or X360 now, I think is Fox Pro's flagship.
I can't wait to really get some more hours on this 2.0.
Well, and that's where I'm at. Like, I can't even hardly give a fair review of the Super Volt because I've ran it for one night.
And from the Super Revolt to what I've used this 2.0 so far, I can't really tell you the difference yet. It's the same remote. Now I know that their big thing is the remote range, right?
Yeah, it's supposed to be like triple the distance because it went from
right.
like 100 to 300 yards, I think.
And
they changed the antenna.
Yeah,
on both. Like
they put
now.
The tweeter speaker now is not sticking on top; it's internal. Like it definitely looks a little different. Mm-hmm. But if you're somebody that doesn't maybe never been around the original Super Revolt or the regular Revolt, you're probably not going to tell the difference.
Yeah.
But there's just little things like that I have noticed. But so far,
it's a little smaller and it's a little lighter.
Lighter, yeah.
That is nice. I mean that's one thing I've had to get adjusted to because that little Patriot that I had. I mean that's a small call. Runs off 4 AA batteries. Like I said, great for what it was and what it is, but then you jump from that to the Super Revolt. It's like, man, this thing is massive.
Well, I'm glad you said batteries because that is one huge thing that I do really like so far is the lithium cartridge. The battery cartridge now. It's not, before you'd pop off the cover and then you could pull out a battery pack, like a lithium pack that plugged in or whatever. This is just a cartridge, like on your trail camera or whatever, just you push a button, it pops out. So you can get a second cartridge and just swap them out if for some reason you forget to charge your call or whatever. But that's pretty neat, I think. But I mean, in time, I need to put some more hours on it and hopefully get a few good kills with it. But I just kind of really wish, which at the same time, it's like when you make the best, you really don't have to change much. Like, because they have the feature that nobody else has it. In my opinion, was why I originally stuck with Lucky Duck is that 3 spinning, being able to sit out there and turn that call.
Yeah.
I don't have to have 3 or 5 speakers around one call if I want to turn that call and project that sound a certain way, I just hit it on the remote. That's by far the coolest thing, but I don't know. We'll see. I need to get somebody. Maybe I'll get Jeff back on here. I really want to find out like the speakers, like why they use what speakers they use, but I doubt I can probably get that info.
I'd be curious. Well, Jeff probably would know that, I guess, but yeah.
I think they're just like a PA speaker or whatever, but like, why do they use that? Because I don't know. The call world interests me, but
yeah,
I'm excited.
Being able to turn the call is nice. I haven't really used it. Well, okay. My first stand when I went last weekend, this is like probably what comes to my mind is maybe one of the only instances I use. It's like, I'm set up off the road on this lane, calling at a woods or a big block of timber and send off a howl at it. And I had a coyote. There's another big block of timber across the road way back in the other field. And I'm calling at the opposite one, but I call at it. And then there's a coyote, excuse me, coyote behind me that answers. And I'm like sitting there, like trying to figure out like, okay, which button do I press to turn this call again? Cause that was like my very first stand. I'm like, it's lit up on like, if you, those buttons are not lit up. So
no, they're on the side.
They're on the side of the screen, and it's like, okay, I couldn't figure it out. I was trying to use the screen light from my monocular to shine it on there. I'm like, okay, I'll just keep calling. Even if I could call that coyote in, it's like I'm gonna be, it's probably not gonna cross the road anyway, and there's a house over there that I didn't want to deal with. So I'm like, I'm just going to focus on where I think the coyotes are. But
And that's what I just remembered. The one thing, if anybody from Lucky Duck is listening to this, fix the stupid magnet on the bottom of the call with the tripod. If there's one thing in this world, maybe I'm the only one that doesn't deal with this, but I know that magnet, it's to be able to make this thing rotate. For anybody who doesn't know, your tripod screws in this little black deal. It's got a magnet that slides in the bottom of the call, and that's what holds your tripod. If you have a tripod with any kind of weight, well, it pops out, and it's actually a little round, but it's got it's got
like a notch in it,
like a notch to where it's got it locked in, so it makes it turn. So if you're out there and this thing falls out, if you're lucky enough to notice it falls out and don't end up going to the next stand and got to go back and get your tripod, and you're in the dark trying to fumble this thing to line this up to get it to fall in there, that magnet is it's not strong enough. Like, you need a strong something. Please, something, change that. But that's the only thing that's what I was going to say earlier. I really wish out of anything they would have changed on this 2.0, it'd be that. Because it was that way.
Fair.
It was that way on my original Revolt, the Super Revolt, now it's 2.0. It's the exact same design. It's like this,
You super glue your.
Oh yeah. Because it doesn't need to come, because your dang tripod screws out of it anyway. So I don't understand why that's even a removable option, I guess. Because, I just take 2 or 3 drops of super glue on the side, not on the magnet part, but on the side, and put it in there. So that way, because, I've told you that. It's one thing I told you to watch out for.
Yeah.
I can think of a handful of times before I started gluing that thing in there to where we've been on stand, and you just walk back to the truck carrying the call, and you just, throw it in the bed or throw it in the back of the buggy, and you don't notice that, because if you're using the original tripod, which they did upgrade, that tripod is better than the original Revolt little wire thing. So this is a heavier, and that's all I use. It still stands, gets the call up there 10 inches off the ground or whatever. So it's a little lighter. But if you're using that, that thing could fall off. Mm-hmm. You throw it in the back of the truck, you're not paying attention because you're just dragging coyotes or whatever. Get to the next stand, pull the call out, and Bill's been like, "Hey, where's the tripod at?" I don't know. Then it's like, shit. And then you
now you're walking through a cornfield trying to find a tan tripod.
Right. It's a terrible.
In the middle of the night.
Yeah, it's just I'm sure for day hunting, I get it. Like, that's something that you're really seeing.
Yeah.
That's visible. But at night, it's just, that's a terrible, in my opinion, terrible design. And there's probably a reason for it. I am sure there's a reason for it.
Yeah.
I just can't think of what the hell the reason is, because, like I said, this is my 4th Lucky Duck call. And I will end up gluing this one into this 2.0 just because it's never heard anything of the other 3 in the past. And I've changed the motors. Like, I've had in that Revolt, I think that's the third set of motors from coyotes coming in charging and hitting that thing and stripping that motor out. So I've just changed that motor out, and it's never heard it. I don't know. I'm sure if they are listening to this, they're like, "You dumbass, why are you super gluing that?" It's like I just got tired of losing it. It's terrible, terrible design. But other than that, that's just my honest take on it. Like, I'm not.
Maybe it comes out so I don't know if you can make it a little bit more compact for storage or something, or if you want to pull the tripod off, then it'll sit perfectly level on a table or something. I don't know.
I get that, and that's probably what the reason is. But, like, why couldn't you just? I'm not an engineer, but why couldn't that piece sit flush on the bottom with just your 1/4-inch threads?
Yeah. No, I don't disagree.
That makes sense.
Because, like, on my like, I'd got like a nice little miniature carbon fiber tripod for it to get it up, and it was like just an Amazon tripod, but all those things, they come with like an Arca plate. So I had an Arca plate on my call.
Right.
Because it just screwed right, that it'd be a 1/4 inch.
Yeah, it's that 1/4 inch thread. It's on the Lucky Duck.
Same, universal thread or whatever. And so I just put the little plate down, and then if I wanted to pull the tripod off the call, all I had to do is that one had a knob that you turned, and yeah, it was, I don't know.
Well, that's
I like that. I haven't ran that carbon fiber tripod on the Lucky Duck, because the Lucky Duck one's fine. I don't know that there's really a reason to, and I know that it falls out.
Right. Well, that's what I was getting ready to say. That's why it was one thing when I got the Super Revolt, I was like, man, I got the better tripod, because you can't, I don't care, even that little 9-inch carbon fiber tripod you have, if it's just a regular stock magnet, you haven't glued this thing in,
it's going to fall out.
It's falling out 100%. And
because that tripod's carbon fiber, but I mean, it's like, it's got the 2 extent, it'll go to like, I think 16 inches tall or something like that. It is heavier than the one that comes with the Lucky, standard one.
Because even that standard one that comes with it, I've showed, like, literally you put it in there and you just make one swing of your arm like you're walking normal. Yeah. That dude's coming out. Like, you literally got to baby your arm if you're carrying it by the handle, like the freaking handle's designed to carry the call. Not holding it by you. I mean, I guess I just hold this one by the tripod because I really don't want to glue it in, but I'm gonna end up gluing it in because it's gonna end up making me mad. But yeah, I don't get, like, if somebody wants to tell me, like, well, use a tripod it comes with, don't put another one on it. Well, I've seen 1,000 different calls all over Facebook and everywhere else, and everybody, because you get it up off the ground. Yeah. Get it up out of at least in our area, if you're hunting the Midwest, you get it up out of the corn stalks. So all these, fields, this corn shelled thigh high, 18, 20 inches off the ground. That call's down in there. Well, those stalks muffle that sound.
Yeah. I
feel it is nice to get it up out of there. Mm-hmm. But anyhow, I've harped enough on them. I hate to do that, but because I love Lucky Duck, because I do want to end it on that note. Like, still, to me, they earned my respect and loyalty when I bought a call, and that call, the speaker, whatever it was, screwed up on me. I called them, and there was a brand new Super Revolt here 3 days later. I called them.
That was when it was making the dolphin sound.
Yeah. And they had no clue who I was. Like, they didn't know this podcast. I didn't tell them nothing. Like, I just called them and said, hey, I've got this. I bought the call from Rick. I contacted Rick. Rick says, hey, call this. He gave me the number, so call these people over at Lucky Duck. Rick had no clue about the pod. I mean, this podcast, none of this had anything to do with that.
Yeah.
I called that guy up there, South Dakota, or wherever the heck they are, Nebraska, South Dakota.
Wisconsin, aren't they?
Wisconsin, somewhere. It's up in that area. But anyways, and the dude was just super. That's another cool thing. I'm talking to an American guy. But, he was super cool. He goes, yep, I know the problem. He goes, what's your address? I give him my address. He said, okay. He said, we'll ship you out another Super Revolt and just put yours back in the box. It'll have a return label, slap it on and send it back.
And yours was out of warranty when they did
Yeah, 100%. And I was like, well, how much I owe you? He goes, nothing. I've told, if you go back to previous episodes, I talked about it on there and went into more detail, but
yeah, it's never fun mid-season when your call quits.
No. And that earned my respect right there. And from that day forward, I'm like, they're going to have to smack me in the mouth and call me terrible names for me not to. And it's no offense against Fox Pro or anybody else. I'm sure their customer service, I don't know. I just know I had great. Yeah. And that from there on out.
You've killed a lot of coyotes with a Lucky Duck at this point, so if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, no. And BFA, with JD sounds, to me, that's the best sounding call BFA comes out of. And I know those are Icotech guys and all that, but man, I could make those things reach with him. It's so crisp, and you can adjust the gains on that, the levels and certain. I think that's a feature a lot of guys don't realize. Like they just have it on level 4, the gain clear up, but like, man, some of these howls, you can, if I'm thinking right, I could be wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think when they're the higher pitched squeakier ones, if you have it like on 3, it sounds so much better, so clear. It doesn't have like that crack on the end of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like some of them they'll get, and then you just kind of hear that little bit of a pop or whatever in the speaker.
The only time I've really messed with the gain so far is when I was, like I got 2 kids, and so I was sitting there in the living room after the kids went to bed. I'm trying to like go through this thing and learn some of these sounds. So I had was playing with the gain. I had the call level on 1, and my wife's sitting on the couch right on the other side of the living room. She's like, "Are you seriously going to do this right now with our kids asleep?" And I was like trying to make it as quiet as I could. So I found like gain level 1 makes it like as quiet as it can be. And she's still like, "Yeah, you're not doing that right now, because if you wake our kids up, I'm going to be ticked." So it's like, okay, I'll bust out the laptop and go to the website and just play them off my computer with headphones in.
Right.
But
yeah, I know Miranda hated, like, she hates it.
Well, you get all those BFA sounds now. It's like first thing you want to do is just sit there, go through and play them all. It's like, okay, what's my favorite 20 or 25 sounds that I got here that I'm, what sounds good to me for my calling style. And
it's overwhelming. It's overwhelming as crap.
Yeah.
That's why I don't understand, man. I mean, it's great for the dudes selling sounds. Don't get me wrong, but like, man, when these guys advertise, like, oh, it's got 400 sounds, somebody's selling one, like, it's got 400 sounds on it. I'm like, honestly, who the flipping hell uses every one of them? Like, am I the only one in this world that's like, I kind of have my 4 or 5 favorite? Like,
yeah.
And that's like, and it's not even like I don't change them every year. Like, when before I started using Pyatt stuff, I used literally the same 3 or 4 Rick Plett sounds for 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And them sounds are older than that, because I've heard Nimnik talk about like TNT, like that's all Schoolyard Brawl. That's like, that sound's got some age on it. And like those guys, them guys still burn it up.
Yeah.
So it's like, maybe I'm not the only one. Like, and I mean, JD smacked me in the mouth for saying that. Like, it's just selling calls, but it's like,
no,
but it's like,
it's overwhelming, because I had the Fox Pro, and I had bought like 20 sounds from MFK, and they're great sounds, but I throw those in an MFK folder, and there was a handful of actual Fox Pro sounds that I'd play too, but it's like I played the same 5, maybe 6 sounds on every stand, and it's like, now you got a call. We got JD's full library, and there's like, I don't even know how many sounds are on that call, man. I've got, but it's like this sound sounds. I was going through JD's website the other night trying to put my BFA, favorites folder together, and I'm like trying to listen to all these howls. I'm like, okay, this one sounds good. I was like, I can't tell you which one's better than the other ones. I just finally just said, okay, this one sounds good. Yeah, I've got 5 lone howls in my favorites folder and 5 pair howls, and they all sound great. And it's like, okay.
Right. Well, and that's the thing, because like,
basically you're like at the point, it's like this, I like, this pitch or this gap here. It's like, that's just my preference. I mean,
I think you said it right when you said your style, because I think that's just what it comes down to, is your personal style.
Yeah.
Because, man, like JD said, like every call or every sound he sells and he has 100% killed coyotes.
Mm-hmm. He
takes them out. He's killing coyotes with it. So it's when you go in with that kind of confidence, it's like, well, shit, they've all been proven.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess you just kind of find the one like me, I lean towards howls with Moto or beans.
Mm-hmm.
Like those are my kind of go-to. And
we need to compare favorites folders. I'm curious if we have any overlap. Of course, I have the advantage of like we've hunted together once, so I was going through it. I'm like, oh, that was one of Zach's sounds that he played. So I kind of had a little bit of a cheat sheet, but I think I was similar. I've got a couple Moto beans, and then I think I got some Apollo too, and that something about them was just like,
Yeah.
that's my kind of sound.
Like Apollo, because I had one Apollo how I forget. And you got to forgive me. Like I'm still learning all these BF. I can spit off Rick sounds because that's what I've run for 7 years or however long now. But that's Apollo. Is it Apollo Thunder Howls? I think, or is it just Thunder Howls? Anyways, that's all irrelevant. But Apollo must have been an older coyote because you can just kind of hear that. Like he's a little deeper. To where Moto is young and got that cocky young teenage type sound. And that's when I play howls, I have an ear for more aggressive howls, I think, which I think this time of year, to your point, I don't think that's probably why howls don't treat me too good this time of year, because I'm playing more aggressive sounds when I probably shouldn't be, because, well, it's still early fall and I don't think they're really riled up as much, but
right.
But yeah, and then the rabbits, which, I mean, a rabbit's almost a rabbit.
Yeah.
I think most cottontails, but you always have them couple like that do stand out, and JD's got a couple that I've played, and I'm like, man, I haven't personally killed anything on it yet because I haven't really hunted much.
Yeah.
But we're getting ready to find out, because there's one that I'm confident it reminds me of my all-time favorite sound, which is a Fox Pro, which is Lightning Jack. Like, and when I first heard that, I'm like, that almost sounds like Lightning Jack. Like, and I love that sound. Like, hands down, favorite rabbit ever. Jackrabbit, but is Lightning Jack. But yeah, he's got some good ones. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Super excited. So you got anything else or what?
No, you brought up Lightning Jack, and it just reminded me one of the first times we hunted together, and I was running my call, and we're sitting there like I howl, and they howl back, and I start playing this rabbit, and they're not coming in, and you just like look over at me, and you're like, "Hey, you got Lightning Jack on that thing?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Just play Lightning Jack." And I flipped the Lightning Jack, and here comes this coyote trotting right in. It's like, okay.
Dude, I'll tell you, that thing's a killer, man. Like, I love that. My all-time top favorite is Lightning Jack, then Shelter Belt, which from Rick, and then JD's coming right in there with his Spaz Rabbit.
Mm-hmm.
That Spaz, man, them are my top three, which is crazy because they're from three complete different call makers.
Yeah.
So, which I don't know who made Lightning Jack. I mean, I guess I don't know who originally made that sound, but I think it's three different call makers. But that's where I think a rabbit is a rabbit to a point, but there's always one or two that stick out. Like, there's that one. What's that MFK? I always hear people talk about it.
I don't honestly know. Well, I bought a lot of organizations from them.
I've heard it play like on videos. Excuse me. On videos, I've seen guys kill videos. Oh, gosh dang it. It's
every good sound.
Right.
Every good call company's got.
But man, I heard it and I was like, man, I guarantee you if I ran a Fox Pro to where I could run MFK sounds, I'd be playing the live it because I love that sound, whatever it was. But I've never hunted over it, but I've just seen a lot of coyotes killed on video, I guess. But
yeah.
All right. I'm going to jump off here. Maybe go do some hunting.
Yeah, let's go kill some coyotes.
Let's do it. All righty, everybody. Go out, shoot your guns, make sure you're shooting straight. See ya.